Harlequins, desperate for a win, looking to storm Fortress Franklin's. Rodrigo Iskro climbs highest and gets the ball back from Marcus Smith, chip down the middle. Kenningham, Harlequins, man of industry, gets through more work than anyone, played more minutes than any Quinn last season. And Smith, second week in a row up against an England compatriot. Iskro, the fast hands to Cleves. Two tries in a blistering performance as Quins claimed victory last year. And they're already into the 22. This is an area where they struggle to convert. Plenty of possession, plenty of territory, just looking for the penetration, and Kenningham trying to deliver. Evans steps in at first receiver, gives it to Smith. Northmore almost through half a hole. Quick ball, lightning ball, and a lightning start for Cassius Cleves and Harlequins.
Well, a brilliant start. Starts with Rodrigo Iskro's tap back from the kickoff. And then Marcus Smith took a bit of criticism last week. He tried his absolute hardest. Here's the take in the air, gets that hand up, solid hand, really good sweep up. And then Marcus Smith, you can just see him changing his running speed, just treading water, allowing it to come. And then he picks off that late sweep round, spots Miller Mills as the man who's going to come round and mark him, knows that that 3-on-2 on the outside is going to have all the advantage as soon as he beats Miller Mills over the gain line. And it's a really nice line. Northampton would have expected a big start from this Harlequins team. They've just delivered.
And no one is more successful from the tee than that man there. And he picks up right where he left off in 2025.
Yeah, it's a perfect start for Quins, isn't it? And often when you've been embarrassed like they have in recent weeks, it can really bring a side to life. Lovely line from Northmore. They recycle quickly. I just think Tadera could have got out of that a little bit quicker onto Cleves, but well finished.
Saints stunned in the opening salvos. Plenty of zip in the way that Quins went about their business there. Jason Gilmore's spoken this week about rediscovering what it is to be a Quinn. That attacking nous that's embedded in their DNA. George Henley's got plenty of that. He had a December to remember, filling his Christmas boots with tries. And the mesh, soft hands for an enormous frame. And now Freeman uses his pace on the arc to Darrow. Pass wasn't very helpful.
Knock on into touch, Jeff.
Just looking at the defence from Quinn's, really nice. Northmore has to come tighter. Doesn't really want to, but he's got to stay connected. There he is in the outside channel. Then he bounces out. And they tread water. They come backwards. He manages to get to Freeman, which is vital. And Iskro links back up with him. And they shepherd it towards touch.
The danger there is you give Freeman just an extra couple of yards, he just gasses you. Regardless of how quick you are on the inside, he's electric. I think they might start to switch that up and start attacking a little bit tighter with Freeman, because Northmore's not a slow coach.
The two who've worn the 13 jersey for England in recent years. Evans, who's only wearing a centre jersey for the 5th time in his career. Iskro almost escaping the clutches, but the handling error cedes possession to the Saints. 9 changes, despite that immense performance on the road at the Rec. The first string sent to the side, though some big names missing. Todaro, one of the rising stars in Saints colours. A delicious ball out the back door, but Coles can't find Kemeny. And then he gets swatted by Treadwell. And the mesh was hoping for it. Instead, the Italian Fischetti took it. Now the turn of Callum Chick. Made a big impression since arriving. Huge hole for Smith to find Hendy, but can't quite clasp it.
If you were wondering whether this game was going to be open or not, my God. First 4 minutes, like tackling's illegal. What a lovely play this is. Darrow steps out of the tackle, accelerates, gets caught in between two guys, and it's exactly the right thing. I reckon Coles could have turned the pedal down there a little bit. Benny would have gone for the line, definitely. wouldn't have made it.
Seen a lot of wingers stopping in contact and having the power to go again.
But this is a man who's come out of the Christmas period with his stock enhanced. Hobson on the charge. A real energy to the manner in which he goes about his attack and defence. Cleese the try scorer. Iskro involved in everything so far. But Todoro just tall enough. Well, if you're wondering why Rodrigo there is wearing the tights, the only one out there, is because in his hometown of Mendoza, it is 30 degrees at the moment. I'm not sure those Argentinian pins are quite as accustomed to this Northamptonshire chill. Will Hobson, the style with which he plays is a complete disregard for his own health at times. But that break, as many metres as he would have ever made in a Quins jersey, lurking at the tail.
Ben mentioned it about the wingers at the minute. You've got to get him on the ground. Doesn't look like the biggest guy in the world, does he? But he's strong. It's a lovely choice of play as well. I just thought when Cole's had it, he might have just put the pedal down. Go for the line. But the pace that Saints are playing with, the ruck speed, the movement of the ball, there's just lots of threats all over the field, isn't there?
Yeah, and although Harlequins will be relieved, that wasn't Harlequins stopping that movement, was it? That was missed passes, inaccuracy from Northampton. They tightened that up. There's just a warning bell there ringing for the away side off that brilliant start.
First inspection of the Quins line-out, which was a bit of a disaster last week. 50% was all they won on their own ball. Cunningham South jolted back by Chicken Pearson. Hobson dusted down. Looks like the prime candidate for this carry. Lucas Friday.
Use it!
Turning 20 in the summer. It's a bit of length on that. Todoro won't have any pressure on him, but he will have numbers outside and ambition. And just like that, Saints are in the 15-metre channel. Ram with a silky dummy in the support in Freeman. Coles threatening the fringes. Got a lot of joy around those fringes against Bath last week, but it was the likes of McParland who was doing the damage. And a mesh, rare error from the big South African. But a glimpse of what Saints can do.
I think what's super impressive is this piece of play here. They're keen to play. It's a long kick, but you see how many guys get back for the Saints. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're in position to take 2 or 3 passes. And then you get to the wide channel really easily and become more of a threat. A lot of the time, players are too slow getting back into position there, but these Saints guys, they just want to attack all the time.
And you said a longer kick. Todoro's got too much time. Look how much he can hook. He's been able to scan the whole width of the pitch, so he can go and find that support. If you've got players giving him maybe one pace before he's tackled, he's just got to make a rash decision. He's got to go on instinct. But there, he's got plenty of time to scan what's in front of him and go and find those bodies.
And when he does go, he beats men. What Tom Willis is eating is another question entirely, but this young man has been an incredible find for Saints.
All those top 3, we were mentioning about the people that stop in contact and then have the power to go again. All 3 of those on that list have that in their locker. Manife will also do it. There's loads of players that are using that, not having their momentum to take them down.
Northmore accelerates through the hole created from Smith, and Friday on the juggle gets smashed from behind. Great power from Pearson. The glimpses of that Quins attack beginning to fire, beginning to click. It's been absent of late, and there's the muscularity that they've been craving as well. Smith drifts it to Pearson, who's got Todoro inside, but he clings on. And Saints go off their feet.
Ben Smith over the ball. Feels like he's hard done by here. This will probably tell us whether he's retained his weight. Again, there's a threat, aren't they?
Marcus, just on the 5, please.
He's so comfortable, the ball in hand, Smith now. Both Smiths. The Finn variety. I think he's learnt a lot from George Ford in these England camps, and you can see the way he shapes his shoulders differently now.
Austin, which Smith for you?
What about it?
Because Marcus has gone up against George Ford the week before as well.
Ford.
I understand. The ball
Neither
gets
Smith,
away,
Ford. It's an easy choice.
Interesting question on top of that is, a lot of people say you put Marcus at 23 because he can cover those two positions. If Ford's not fit, who do you play?
He is, I'm not choosing.
Northmore with a run-up from the car park. Cunningham South on the inside ball, burst the challenge. Sal's the dummy, should it have gone? He does get it away, but the opportunity spurned. Cunningham South did fabulously to make the break initially. The pink jersey did arrive on his left. It saw to it that he went himself, and now it's in Saints' hands.
Use the ball.
There is real intent to the way Quins are attacking at the moment, and Alex Mitchell can only seek the salvation of the touchline.
We've mentioned about those players that are good when they're stationary and go again. This is the opposite. This is a guy, Cunningham South, that wants to be in motion all the time, and time is run, so he's at full tilt when he hits the line. And he's so powerful and strong. You can't go too high on him, but equally, if you go in at thigh height, he's just going to use that high knee lift and get through you. That's exactly what Harlequins were missing last week, his ability to get over that gain line, give the platform and foundation for Marcus Smith.
Treadwell, unchallenged, Friday, in at first receiver again, just feeding the Puma.
No, you've let go.
And it's another Italian, Delino Fischetti, who clamps down on that ball.
Yeah, it's a good turnover. Look at him on the right-hand side of the screen. Just comes in exactly the right time. There's an argument there that he's slightly blocked out from the clear-out on Miller Mills, but they get away with it. I think what we're seeing from Quins in this first 11 minutes is a frustration of a couple of players who will feel like they've let their teammates down in recent weeks. Northmore being one, not been playing well for such a talented guy. Cunningham South. And when you have that frustration, you do feel like you've let your mates down, you can start to produce the quality that everybody knows they've got. You know, you look down the team sheet of Quins, you know, it's actually a really good side.
Leading on the scoreboard, and that man, Cunningham South, getting the plaudits for another micro win.
If they get it a little bit earlier, then I'd take that. But
if we compete, is it still not straight?
Just trying to calm his forwards down a little bit. There's an element of edge to Northampton. They're almost the masters of all their own errors at the moment. Just need to not get carried away. When you're playing against a team that's desperate and you're in form, you don't want to be brought down to their level with errors. You've just got to, sometimes you just got to hold on to things, go for easier options, just play yourself into the game, take away their sting and fire that's always going to be there for the first 20 minutes.
Well, for all their propping injuries, and the list is pretty long in the front row for Quins, they don't lose a lot of ball on their own feed. Smith, Iskro arriving. It's a tricky kick that is casually collected, classily collected by Todoro. And now Saints are breaking again. They just love the ball in hand. Ram! One more along. Support arriving in Mitchell. Scintillating break. Green jerseys pouring forward, and Quins offside. And you wonder whether Sarah Cox might go to the pocket.
The speed that Northampton can just turn it on. And the best case in point is Alex Mitchell's speed after the Todoro carry. Just look how quickly that ball after the tackle is up and gone. No way that Dombrand can get into a defensive or an attacking defending position. He has to be lateral and drift across the field because he just can't get round the corner and get set.
to the front, to Kemeny, to Ram, who explodes into 3 Quins. Back to the short side, so almost there, fighting all the way. And the man who won the turnover back in the 22 minutes ago rounds off the advance to the try line. Danilo Fischetti.
Oh, he's looked really good in this game already. And they just catch Harlequins thinking that they're all going to go around the corner. Look at those 3 pink shirts far side. And they come back. And it's the initial tackler getting back to his feet. Is that Nick David, I think? Just getting back to his feet. Just gets in the running line of some of the defenders that want to get into that guard position, and they come back against the grain. Sharp angle. And he has the power to go over.
Slotted over the conversion as well, all square. Very difficult, though, to bounce back quickly to that short side defensively, isn't it? Even though you've got all the defenders stood right in front of you. Here's that carry. I think it's Cassius Cleves that gets in the way.
A first Saints try for the Italian, who brought up 50 international caps. Last 6 Nations, turns 28 later this month, and you feel there's a lot of good years left in that individual right there.
All back by Green.
7 apiece with 15 played, and a mesh. His handling is supreme, and the pace too of Saints, but they could be made to pay by Don Brandt. The captain smothered by Pearson. Then Cleese gets another inside. Ram's there. It was almost brilliant, but instead Quins are sent packing back down the field to the tune of 60 metres.
It's exactly what Quins want. He's wanting loose offloads. This is a great little ball out the back here. Does he stay on the pitch? Yeah, he does. That's class. And then they do it again. I think Cleves keeps it alive, doesn't he, Cleves? But if Saints keep throwing those, not speculative offloads, but not going to hand, they play exactly into Quins' game plan. They want it loose. They want it to be as loose as they can get. And it's certainly helping them.
Henry's coming your way, mate.
The lonely Nick Easter has started at number 8 more times than Alex Don Brandt. He's such a key figure for this team now.
I think Nick Easter definitely would have looked for contact if he'd have made that intercept. I don't think he'd have gone for the corner, but just thought Don Brandt there might have pinned his ears back and gone for it. Hendy was coming across from cover. He was hit hard, wasn't he, by Pearson. So competitive, that Saints back row now. They've got some really good players, haven't they, that aren't playing today. Obviously Pollock, for the first game, no one's mentioned his name for a while.
Sam Graham, just back on the rugby field. It's good to see Sam Graham after a hellish time with an ACL, along with Robbie Smith. An HIA appearance for the time being pending. Assessment on Josh Kemeny. That is a wonderful take from James Ram, who's been at the heart of all the good attacking stuff for Saints so far. This is their orchestrator, Finn Smith, who picks out his namesake. And he looks to take his man on. Offloads to Mitchell. Freeman, nowhere to go, but a pink dead end. No look. Right out the back, ended by Cunningham South. But Hendy's free, and so too the Saints. Streaking down the edge, Jack Ram back inside. Saints DNA all over the try, and Alex Cole's name all over the score sheet.
On a brilliant team try, but they're lethal at finding where you're weak, and Harlequins step in on this left-hand side. Cunningham South doesn't need to go there, he makes the big shot, but Finn Smith's played him perfectly, takes it to the line, takes him out of the game. And then it's just once they're in behind, picking off the numbers and having more people there quicker than the opposition. He doesn't need to step in and make that big shot, though. They have to tread water. Too many numbers on the outside.
I think out of all the sides that I've watched this year, Saints have to be the best at dropping the ball back into the backfield, into the 10's hands. It's smooth. Every single one of them, no matter who you are, front five, one of the backs, doesn't matter. They're so slick in that little move, and it never stops the flow, the momentum of getting to those wide channels. And they've got real pace out there to support it when it does.
He's won the collision with Cunningham South lightly. Hasn't been at his best with the boot this season, Finn Smith.
Yeah, as Benny said, big hit on Finn Smith. I think he was 66% before today. There's the hit. He just invites it. He wants someone to step out the line, because as Ben said, if he does step out the line, look at the cover defence now. They're all as fast as they can. Friday's trying to get to the 2 tackles, not 1. And you've got guys on the inside who just simply haven't got the gas to keep up with that of Saints.
Saints take the lead, and Hendy gets on the ball. Pearson in the thick of it all. A couple of settling scores for Saints, who were shocked in that opening 60 seconds from the Cleves try. Freeman picking his moment to find Graham, rides the challenge of not just Iskro, but Northmore too. Miller Mills, Coles, the try scorer, so dynamic, his combination with Van der Mesch bearing fruit in the middle of the park. Back on his feet. Dingwall. Well, Saints are humming right now. Pearson just goads Cleves to make the challenge and enters the 22. Lethal when they get to this area of the field. Fischetti out the back, Coles, the assist. Mitchell with another peach in the Prem from Northampton.
What a try that is. If you're a front 5 forward watching at home and you think your game's based just on power, it's not. The interplay, starting with the backs to begin with. Lovely little ball. Graham stays on his feet. Look at that, he's tackled on the 10-metre mark line, makes another 12 metres. They're in behind now, everyone's backing off. Ball over the top from Dingwall. Pace and power from Pearson out wide. And then the interplay from the forwards is absolutely brilliant. Mitchell's in quick, the ball's away. Fischetti back on the inside there. Lovely hand, stays alive. Coles it'll offload. Mitchell finishes. That's as good as you'll see.
That one, good timing.
And Finn Smith duly maximises.
Oh, cheers, Jacko.
Right, I think that this might be a good time to speak to Sam Vesti, who I imagine, Sam, you're wearing a bit of a smile on your face after those 3 scores.
Yeah, I think actually started pretty slow, and we were slow to move, sort of looked like everything was shocking us. And then obviously the last sort of 10 minutes has been excellent, and we've managed to keep the ball alive. We've attacked in lovely spaces, and the game's just gone really fast, so exactly how we want it.
I think this is very much your wheelhouse in how ruthless you've been, but no one converts scores in the 22 quite like Saints. How do you achieve that clinical nature?
A lot of hard work, obviously, on the training pitch, and then knowing what we're trying to do, and then just practicing it and putting it under pressure in the week, seeing where it fails and what's good about it, and then just getting really good at it and not trying to be too smart, just getting really good at being the simple bits. And I'm afraid rugby coaching is actually pretty boring, guys.
Sam, how have you managed to get the forwards making such good decisions? Because obviously there are times where they go off and split and do their own unit drills and things, but everyone on the ball, we saw in that last try the decision-making of Miller Mills to drop the ball back on the inside where the last tackle had been, so the defenders were slower. How's that come about at Saints?
So we basically trying to get one-on-ones in those situations. So you've got a one-on-one on your inside, one-on-one on your outside. Then that's all we're trying to do, and then we just put it under as much pressure as we can in the week, consistently. So Killer's been doing that for a few years now, and just consistently putting that under pressure, we get good at it, and we make better decisions and better decisions.
Right, thank you, Sam. We'll let you get back to work, and we'll do the same.
Guys. Thank you.
Because Quins are building through phases as they ratchet up towards double digits. But the defence is venomous from the Saints. For all the phases, there's not many metres coming, and instead it's a penalty to the way of the green, black and gold.
Why would you come to me?
I just want to get the
You know
tempo
where I've
up
given it, it's right
Northampton.
there.
Brings it back.
Barrel snap.
Making more metres in contact than other teams, Northampton, and everyone always thinks that's because of them being physical. That everyone thinks metres in contact is about your physicality. It's not. It's just make it impossible to get shots on people, so that they're one-on-one tackles rather than a double tackle. And the more pace they play at, the more difficult that is for Harlequins.
He'll come in.
No one has made more dominant tackles than Saints in this Gallagher PREM season. They're, well, with some of the hits that have gone on out there, they're probably surpassed 100. The line-out lets them down. And Robbie Smith there, who this week, he described that victory against Bath as unreal. Said it was the best away victory of his career. So Phil Dowson's been pretty quick to say that Bath the past, today's the future. We move on, no matter how good it was. Sam Graham has come on with a bee in his bonnet. More metres, more Quins defenders in his wake. Dingwall putting some width on it. Pearson is everywhere right now. And he drives through, cutting himself all the way to the 10. Lovely late arrival and ball for Smith. There's an ominous attacking feel to the way Saints are building, and Northmore has gone very high there.
Been put under a lot of pressure, aren't they? That 12-13 channel. Guys stepping in, having to move. It's a good example. Ball out the back. You just look at Jared Evans there, you think, what can he do? He's come forward, does he back off? But what he's got to do is he has to stay connected with Northmore.
You just watch Kenningham off the back of him. I'm not sure we're going to see it, but there he is with the headband. If it plays on, they were so good last year with Evans and Kenningham getting over the ball, slowing teams down, winning turnovers, but there's just nothing to go to at the moment. It's that quick. He's having to just put his hand on a tackle and go bounce out, knowing that if they get quick ball, he's needed in the defensive line rather than over the ruck.
Pearson at full stretch and a bit of an arch, and Freeman is getting plenty of time on the ball with 13 on his back. Van der Mesch ignored. But back in the red zone, 3 from 3. Utterly ruthless to this point. Kenningham looks to affect the turnover, but it's going to be to no avail, because the Italian loosehead, Daniele Fischetti, has waited so long for a Saints try, now has a double.
He is loving tonight. He's absolutely everywhere. And the interplay between some of the forwards and the offloading. Miller Mills with the carry. And then Mitchell just steps out to the guard. Little pump pass to hold them. Opens up the gap between those two defenders. And Fischetti just has to flop over for this one.
Yeah, Cunningham South steps out, doesn't he, as the second defender there. See? Eyes looking away from the ball. It's difficult. Wants to try and put a shot in, but you've got to stay connected. Particularly when you've got a 9 like Mitchell, who can easily pop out, hold on to a guard, and separate the first and second defender for a try like that. And that's a walk-in for those guys, isn't it? It's 26-7. I know you're looking at the record score before the game. I'm not sure they can score 90, can they? Like they did against Gloucester.
Callum Chick. The Geordie, who's made such an industrious impact since arriving from Newcastle, still keeps his eye on the red balls, and Well, Quins may need to start keeping an eye on them too. Smith collects his own kick, but then dislodged, falls back into his arms. Play on for the time being, and Quins need a response. Hobson.
Okay, we're all done. Leave it.
Evans, the Welsh playmaker, to the returning Scotsman. Season in Japan before heading back to UK shores. Friday just inserts Kenningham through the hole, thrashes on almost to the 22. Smith to Dombran, sits down George Hendy unceremoniously, but loses the ball in the process.
That's a huge shot with ball in hand. Just takes that big step. And then just loses a little bit of awareness of where the touchline is as he looks for that pass. Does he take a step back? Can't see, but obviously...
I think he's arguing that maybe he took a high shot, actually. James Rahm.
I think he's dropping down, isn't he?
Hang on. Yeah, that's okay. I've come to sort that out for you and help you out, okay? So just make sure that you're on your mark as well.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Slightly up right there. It's Ram, isn't it? I was thinking it was the first one that he was complaining about. It's the second one. Yeah.
11 Northampton, okay.
He's in trouble here.
Just out on this touchline here.
It's a yellow card.
Yeah.
At the very least. It could be more.
So just roll it through full speed to start with.
James Ram is only just back from having picked up a 20-minute red card against Poe in the European Cup.
Dombran couldn't be more upright, could he? He takes one in the chops. That's a yellow at least.
Most of it's through that chest, isn't it?
I'm not sure you can say it's through the chest. It's the top of his head hits him in the chin.
So we have head contact. We've got foul play. The level of danger is not high. It's glancing. And so I'm at penalty only on this one. Okay, Jacko, you can come back to me.
Come back to you now.
Is that glancing for you, Austin?
So we do have head contact. It is foul play, could be lower. It is a glancing contact, so therefore I'm on penalty only, just out by this touchline.
Yeah, have that.
No, it's a yellow card. Minimum yellow card for me. I don't think it's glancing. He hits him on the top of the head, right in the jaw. And Dombran can't be more upright. He's stood completely upright. So, you know, you want an example of you've got to drop your height. That's a good example of you have to drop lower.
Think about his decision-making, Ram, as well. He's probably thinking, I want to go chest to chest, so I'll stop the offload. And if you do that, you run the risk. And with Oz, I think that's more than a penalty.
Well, the warmth with which that penalty was received by Franklin's Gardens would tell you that the Saints contingent are pretty content with that just being a penalty. But it is still a penalty that sees them defending from 5 metres out. Treadwell. Dombran! Set play. Their main man scoring against Saints once more.
Boy, have they missed Alex Dombran. Just his timing of all his runs is superb. Doesn't have to break stride. He's not going at full tilt. But because the timing's so good, he's beaten anyone in a green, yellow and black shirt. There's no way they can get around the corner. Miller Mills gets taken in. What happens to Robbie Smith? He goes in thinking it's going to drive, a shift drive around the front.
I have seen it.
They've won it in the middle. Looked like a shift drive round the front. And Dombran just walks straight in. That could well be one that's been looked at by the video analysts during the week. See how they defend that front shift drive and exploit it to perfection.
Well, if Quins fans are looking for crumbs of good omens as Marcus Smith drains another perfect conversion. He scored here last time Quins beat Saints at the Gardens.
It's a clever play, isn't it? Kenningham in particular at the front, his body shape, he can just get his left arm out if he has to onto Robbie Smith, but Robbie Smith commits anyway. Lovely offload from Cunningham South, the timing of the play excellent.
That win, by the way, back in the COVID times, in the latter days of the Gustard era. We all know what Quins went on to do that season. It's slightly far a cry on this occasion.
Use the ball.
And there's plenty to go in this first half alone. 6 tries in the opening half hour. Quins back in sight, and Ram still on the field and skating around the would-be defenders. Kenningham won't let him free. And Mitchell, disorientated, nowhere to go. How has he picked his way through that heavy pink jersey traffic? He's going to create one for Freeman out of absolutely nothing. Mitchell had no right to carve out and create that try. Freeman just did the finishing.
You think you've buried him alive, don't you, defensively? He's in the backfield, he's running around in circles, he's got nowhere to go, but he punches through the soil and comes out the surface. And who do you want on the outside? Fastest guy on the pitch, Freeman. Ball to the outside, try time. That is just so good from Mitchell. Too many times scrum halves in that scenario, they end up just running into contact. Not this guy's, look, there's a hole, I'll find it. And then accelerates away. It's brilliant rugby.
Petty got absolutely lost on the initial break, hovering in behind, not in the defensive line. But after they've made it, Freeman just goes to that outside arc as early as he can to almost force Mitchell to come with him. And he knows that he's got the element of surprise and beaten David. Mitchell, this team know each other so well, he goes off and finds him.
33 Northampton points in as many minutes, and they want more. Smith wants Ram. Ram wants to get in on the act. Freeman's inside, and Pearson fluffs his lines.
Fabulous tackle by Jared Evans, that. He's worked really hard to get across here.
You've got an option.
Perfect kick, on the money. Ram goes on the outside, but just look at Evans here, just inside Freeman. He works hard and actually goes back towards his legs quick. That's good defensive play. One more stride there, Freeman's gone. And there's a ball back inside and they're scoring again.
Try number 9, who, for the man who was tied on 8 with Noah Kalori at the start of the weekend.
Use it! Wait here. Yeah, you're inside.
Lucas Friday having the toughest of first Premiership starts out there today. His team on the back foot, and such a loose contest as well. Part of the England under-20s cohort who claimed the World Rugby Championship in Cape Town. He was there by virtue of Archie McParland being injured and unavailable to go. He's on the bench for Saints tonight. And Jared Evans just can't quite reel in the ball. A step behind him.
Compounds the error, doesn't he, by getting turned over. You knock it on there, then dive on it. You're isolated, your teammates aren't near you. You're just better off hoofing it along the ground. Here we go again. Can he get them in the red zone? Not quite, just outside the 22. But a good opportunity here, Benny, I think, to start running some of these peel plays that we know Vesti loves.
Particularly that transition zone in behind the back of the Quins line-out. Those players that are racing off, worried about the speed that Northampton can get the ball wide, and those players that are trying to mark the back of the line-out.
Freeman swapped to the inside centre role. He ran this line against Bath last week. Let's see if they do it again.
Mitchell gives it to Todoro. Todoro just skipping around the challenge from Friday. Dingwall thumped by Evans. Mitchell just bouncing around offering some danger.
Okay, we're all done. Good counteract, but we're all done
Rescue
now.
job by
Let the
Callum
ball
Chick
come.
there.
Stay there, just stay there.
Big opportunity for a Harlequins turnover, and he got back, swung his legs round, protected the ball.
Miller Mills taken low. Every Northampton player wants their hands on the ball right now. Van der Mesch finally carries. That's what he's known for. Mitchell is just manipulating with every step, every pass. Cole's already won. Popped on, still not quite there for the Saints. Brilliant last-ditch tackle from David.
You must release the ball, then return to your feet.
Yes, good decision, I think. And just see whether he was held on the ground, but they just got a little bit frantic there, didn't they? A little bit too quick. There's a carry. Tadero, is he down? Yeah, he's held. Got a release. Good decision, that.
Dingwall's pass to him was lovely, though, wasn't it? It's just the way they control their feet. Know exactly how much space they've got and grass in front of them before the defender. And they'll either take those steps to try and attract the defender to them, or if they're under pressure, they'll just jam the brakes on and stick it straight through the hands. Either way, defender's committed. There's usually at least a one-on-one on their outside, or more often than not, a little half break.
Good contest in front.
Closing minutes of a first half that started so brightly for Quins. It's proven a false dawn. The Saints have turned it on. Bit of chaos. And Quins first to drop on the loose ball. Is there a sting? Is there a bit of hope to take into the changing rooms? Northmore drives on. Friday looking for friends. Finds Iskro tight to the touchline. Cunningham South goes for the pass. Petty. Manhandle by Pearson. And backpedaling. Smith gives a good ball to Northmore. Then Cleaves. This is where he thrives. Open space. Covering defence. Turner. Oh, hammered low. Sam Graham's having a mighty match from the bench right now. Treadwell. Heavy hit. And we may need a bit of attention in the aftermath.
You okay?
Immediate concern here, and will take as long as we need.
I'll let them deal with that.
The challenge on Kieran Treadwell.
Coxie, there's no foul play, he just gets his head the wrong side right next to the table.
Okay, no worries.
Nothing
And Quins will last him.
malicious or ill-willed about it, just a case of him getting his head on the wrong side, I think.
Obviously wish him well. Just getting the very best pitch side care down there. Just looking at Cunningham South and the impact he's having on the game. Just that one is such a big destructive carrier, but there's times where his body shape makes it so obvious he's going to pass, so those defenders in front of him, he needs to run the same line as the first one we saw, so that the defender has to stay, because otherwise if he holds on to it, he's going to be through and he's going to lose that collision. But you could tell he was going to pass that ball, so everyone can just drift off, and he just needs to get that shape. It's something that Northampton are so good, keeping themselves square down the pitch and being genuine running options before they deliver that pass.
Yeah, it will be, yeah.
A busy first 38.5 minutes for Chandler Cunningham South, and busy TNT menu as well for you tomorrow. Welford Road, the destination. Leicester Tigers, Saracens, the contest. A classic Gallagher PREM feel to that one, as Tigers look to bounce back after defeat to the Chiefs last time out.
Look, at the moment we're getting good ball away, so let me have a look at that.
And then moving on to bat and ball, it is the Ashes, the fifth, the final one, and it is day one with England. Well, the series is gone, but they're looking to build upon that first Test victory in Australia since 2011, last time out in Melbourne. Coverage in Sydney starts at 10:30 tonight on TNT Sports 1. Fraser Dingwall, the man down and receiving the attention and concern.
He is moving. Just taking all the time they can
No
with his
worries, I was
care
just about to come and ask you about that.
the spinal board just to check. There's nothing more serious
You're
than
not captain.
expected.
For some reason.
And Austin, Fraser Dingwall,
Oh, you look like you're enjoying yourself down here
the
as well,
incumbent, 12 at the moment for England.
Well, if Freeman's going to end up in the 13 shirt, you may as well pick combinations, hadn't you? And think that Ollie Lawrence has played well in the autumns. He'll be up there for consideration as well, but he's a different type of player, and I think that final game we saw him against Argentina, I think he really had a very good game in terms of becoming that second 5/8. Whoever plays in the 12 shirt will have to complement Ford more than anybody else, because Ford is going to be probably the first name on the team sheet at the minute. So you're not going to put someone in there that doesn't complement him. But he's got a very good replacement coming on.
Well, this is indicative of the depth that Saints have created. You know, Rory Hutchinson, he was out with starts against the All Blacks and Argentina for Scotland in the Quilter Nations series. Ollie Slightholme is unavailable through injury. They've got a French international, Anthony Bello, on the bench as well. The way that Phil Dowson can shuffle his deck at the moment is enviable for a lot of sides in the Prem.
I'm starting to think, though, that Saints are beginning to look a little bit like the English version of Toulouse. Doesn't really matter who plays. The way they're coached, as you heard from Sam Vesti before, what he's trying to do is create as many one-on-one situations as he possibly can. And so as an individual, you know that's what you've got to do when you come on, and you know you've got to perform because there's so much competition for places. So I think they're becoming a very difficult side to play against, particularly for the power teams. The power sides who could normally just bash in and win. These guys play high possession, high tempo, very quick game, and then the big guys start to struggle against them. And it's that balance, really, isn't it? Power versus pace. It's great to watch.
You've heard a lot of people talking about how well they're coached. But remember, all these people have come through the Saints system. So they've been playing this way all the same way. It's not like other teams that bring in centres from other places. You've got Hutchinson, who's a very similar style player to the other two. Bellu's the one that has come in from outside. But again, the recruitment's been good in terms of the style of player he is and how that will fit in if Finn Smith's not available. Finn Smith arriving from Worcester, but obviously there was the Sam Vesti link from when he was there looking at after the transition of Worcester Warriors players.
And when it clicks, we've seen already this evening the tries that they can score. Absolute pace out wide. It's so difficult to defend against, no matter who you are defensively. There's the opening one. Obviously, Quinn's got off to a blistering start, as you'd expect from a side that's been through such a difficult period in December. But then they started to find the way. The ball started to stick. Little offloads to the outside. You've got real gas, the ability to just the forwards. This guy has had a sensational 12 months, hasn't he? You know, that no one really knew who was going to partner Itoje for the long term. It looks like it's going to be him now. I know there's other competition there, but the engine he's got on him, his ability to get his hands on the ball and get through the midfield, but also do all the dogged big work at the line-outs and the tight. And they've got a tight five that love playing rugby, love carrying, and the pace of the ball. And you've got Mitchell. I don't think there's any better scrum half, and I include Anton in this. I don't think there's anyone better as a 9 to play this style of rugby than Mitchell. There's other styles of rugby that are better, and obviously there's other scrum halves around the world that may be slightly better in different things, but if you want a game where you're attacking the fringes and you want your type 5 to play and offload, this guy's the best.
Don't feel you have to rush with anything. I'll give you a chance.
But what about Quinn's, Austin? Because, you know, in years gone by, you would look at this fixture in the calendar, you think, right, a tri-fest, which we are enjoying at the moment, but that Quinn's would be, you know, tearing defences apart in a similar vein, but yet they seem to have lost their way with ball in hand.
Yeah, well, I think they've lost their way as a club for a period of time, and they need to fix it. You can't have your head coach coming off the pitch not yet halfway in the season and saying the season's done for. There used to be a joke going around that Quinn's end of season party happened at the end of Feb, and if your coach is saying it in December, then he needs the sack.
Right, fellas, there's your mark. Let's go, Barry, let's go. Right here. Time on, please, Mark. Let's go. Yes, on me. So I can have a look.
It's true though, is it? I mean, if I was playing for Quinn's and the coach told me before we got to the halfway point of the season that the season was over, what's the point of turning up to training?
Crouch.
If I owned Quinn's, he'd been in on Monday and he'd been gone by Monday afternoon.
It's certainly been an unsettled coaching setup for Quins. There was the abrupt departure of Danny Wilson in September before the season start. Jason Gilmore, originally a defence coach and now has the role as senior coach. Nick Evans alongside him, and they've been through this before. Referenced the end of Paul Gustard's tenure and the remarkable Premiership win, but lightning not striking twice at the moment for Quins.
Players have got to take responsibility as well, haven't they? You know, we work with a couple of ex-Quins players, Danny and Hugo, and they're both embarrassed by their performances, and you always love the club that you played for most. And you can understand the pain that they're going through watching them currently. But they're performing better today.
Game back underway and into the final few seconds.
Baltimore's been good for them today. It's given them that go for obviously a couple of years since they had Esther Hazen, who did that so well for them.
Smith, Cunningham South, big bustling carry. Takes out a few Saints in the process. Hobson uses the hands. Evans, the third tranche of attack coming forward. Treadwell, not quite as light on his feet as the man outside him. Turner, the dynamism to the Scotsman. And Iskro looks to pirouette free. May have been a knock on there, but off the foot, in fact. And Quins, all of a sudden back at the halfway after all the hard work to get them a little deeper into the Saints' half. But a penalty now to position themselves potentially in the 22.
Yeah, just clear it, please. Sorry. Oh, just in front of me.
How big does Marcus Smith go with this?
I think he goes for it, doesn't he?
From that move around the front with Don Brandt. He's giving it plenty. Still about 15, 20 metres off, though. Getting the call now, they're going to shorten. The big carriers in midfield, no. All those big forwards head into the line out.
Yanked down in the air, visibly. And a bit of indecision. Don Brandt eventually bails out to Cunningham, who may have caught an arm around the neck on the way down to ground. Pearson locks down and ends Quinn's last tilt of the first 40. And you wonder, even though they're in the 22, you sort of feel that Saints might not want this half to end the way it's gone, and Finn Smith is not poking it out, he's going for a bit of range. And Quins will have to brace themselves one last time. Crisp, quick, inside, Ram thrashing on. And then Van der Mesh, like a planet arriving on the left of Alex Mitchell. But the carry so good that the steal comes.
Upson latches in over the ball, good strong fingers.
Neither side wants the half to end.
Touch found off the hand of Eduardo Todoro. Jared Evans squeezing every last drop from that penalty and approaching 4 additional minutes played. Quins do have one more chance.
Isgro been told by Marcus Smith to get wider.
No compete.
First attempted driving more from either side on memory. Evans, Smith, now Isgro arrives, partially sits down Freeman, but so many Saints, they're so well connected. Risky ball across the face, slips forward out of the hands, and that draws to a close. A first half that saw Quins fly out of the blocks. A try from Cassius Cleese, one later on from the captain Don Brandt. Alex Mitchell has been at his mischievous stepping best, and Danilo Fischetti has a couple, and Northampton lead Harlequins at the break. 33 points left at least to overcome first. Saints shifting through the gears in a first half that delivered them 5 tries.
That's a good contest. He's in a realistic position. Good contest.
Takes it and falls heavily after the challenge from Round. There's a little bit more damage, it looks like, to George Turner, who's gingerly picking himself up off the floor, and Saints almost profiting from a drop ball from Quins.
What start the Quins would have wanted to the second half, is it? Got away with a decent catch, actually, from Petty.
Yes, he was in a realistic position.
It looks
they
like
just
Turner's
collided
taken
in
a
the
bit
air,
of a knock here from... Was it Rahm that was chasing it?
Well, they don't want George Turner to go down or out, because Jack Walker is currently out with an HIA, and the hooker stocks are a little bit low.
Yes, he's in a realistic position.
The front row stocks are a little bit challenged. Unavailable at the moment: Finn Baxter, Boris Wenger, Titi Lamasatelli, Jordan Ells, Jack Walker, Ollie Streeter. And we haven't even got into Caden Murley, Oscar Beard and Will Evans and Steph Levis. It's a busy physio room.
Always look in these situations at the body language of the guys behind the scrum. Just looking at Hendy's position here behind the scrum. He's very active, he's tapping his toes, maybe he's trying to stay warm, but could end up going down that far side. Look at him, he's just starting to creep one way, back the other. Here he comes.
The Gardens looking to roar the Saints to the line, but Marcus Smith hangs Finn Smith. Don Brandt gets the turnover, and Northmore, who's looked lively all match, is away and dragged down by the replacement prop, Cleopas Kundiona.
Yeah, wait here, wait here.
So wobbly up and under that Hendy has to watch well. It ain't going to get kicked, not in Saints' hands. Hutchinson played a classy role at inside centre last week at the Rec, and Smith doesn't quite have the power to reach Ram without a bounce, but Ram has the skills. So too Freeman, who bruises his way into Rodrigo Isgro, cleaves the collateral damage, writhing on the floor as Saints continue to press. There's only 13 Quins up and available. Hendy, fresh blood in Craig Wright, tumbling on to 6 or 7 shy, but Alex Don Brandt, his second turnover in about 60 seconds, isn't rewarded. Coles into Kenningham, frenetic start as Van der Mesch just gallops over Quins players. Did he get it down?
Has he got it down? It's a long way down for that man to become a scrum half. He doesn't look like he's confident, does he?
Yeah, I got knock on live, yeah.
Okay. He's also obvious not Tom. So we'll go back to the advantage.
Sort of saw Van der Mesch coming late. He's just dived at his knee. And went for the placement, didn't he, and spilt the ball.
Well, we've seen that quite a bit recently, haven't we? Kenningham on the floor, affecting the ball going on the ground. Can't do that in the field of play, but you can do it behind the try line.
What? I have no idea what you're on about. Just
They're asking, aren't they?
I've no idea what you're on about. There was no advantage, we're coming back. There's no advantage, we come back from those. It's an advantage from them. Yeah.
Not you, your team.
Yeah, here you go. Come back, he's always on there. It's this one. Yeah, that's it. No.
I wonder if they run the same play as they did last time. The short side's not quite as big, but you can still affect the same situation and setup. No, Hendy's coming wider this time. But you would have seen him earlier, just trying to get on that shoulder ball last minute with Finn Smith.
Faces in that Northampton front row. Mitchell snipes the short side. Friday puts the hit on Smith. And Iskro can't get his hands on the ball. Graham, been massive since coming on for the injured Kemeny. No release as Don Brandt goes for a third turnover of the half.
We're not having a conversation, Alex.
Sir, can I go?
Callum Chick. Fischietti on a hat-trick. Harlequins circling the wagons. Van der Mesch, he may just do it this time. A huge, unstoppable man, but enough Quins to get under. Yes.
Well, the person you want going in from that distance is always going to get over the line. Might have potentially bounced on the floor and jumped up, and then the leg came in, but we go in again.
Fischetti's footwork outfoxes Harry Williams. Surely, Saints must burst the Quins dam. But more heroic defence. Marcus Smith at the bottom of the heap, along with Don Brandt.
On-field decision is held up. Just thinks like, you've got man down here, so time's off.
He ends up rolled onto his back, but a little bit like what I was describing with Van der Mesch. He's suggesting that he landed first.
It being held up, and the guy's talking about it being grounded on the line. So can you just check that for a minute in the background?
Yeah, for the rotation from that angle, this will give us a better clue. Nothing conclusive there. Referee spot on.
Don Brandt's left leg, isn't it? Just gets underneath. I don't think I can give anything there.
Gets his arm and rotates Chick on the floor, just as Chick's about to place it.
Time is still off. Time is still off because the TMO's checking something in the background.
Nothing to overturn your on-field decision, Coxey.
Okay. Go on.
Ready?
Time on. Yep, when you're ready.
On Mitchell. Mitchell.
Restarted to compete, and Hendy and Smith failed to put an authoritative name on it. Tumbles back to the 10, and Saints rebuild. Van der Mesch out the back door. Why not? Freeman skipping around, leaves Cunningham South chasing shadows. Right, swallowed by Williams. Mitchell. Where's Cunningham South as a backpack? Pearson on the line, but bounced back from whence he came. Now the turn of Chick. There is an inevitability about this Saints onslaught, but again, Quins hold them up.
Great defence from Quins. David underneath the ball. He's done. That's a really good effort because he's one-on-one with two ball carriers and a latch. Gets his body underneath. This is Mitchell again, pumping the ball, moving defenders.
Time off.
And as they go through the phases, look at David, gets his knees underneath. That's really, really good defence from him.
Well, there he is, Austin. You say his name and he is summoned.
Sure.
Has he got a Sales Sharks hat on?
Yeah, no
Something
worries.
we don't know.
I'll have it for you, no problems.
You really are dropping bombshells tonight, aren't you, Austin?
New year, new me. Here comes Ben with something.
Turn on.
Chaps, whatever happens in this game, this period of defiance from Harlequins, is this the kind of stuff that teams, players, supporters can build upon?
They haven't shown enough fight over the last few weeks, and yes, but they'll want to play a bit more down in Saints' half. And it's difficult. There's an onslaught against them. Done very well to survive it, but now they have to get the ball back and get into the opposition half.
For the first time, Red Hendy almost bounces it through the hole, and Quins are released at long last from their 22. Right, Nick Evans. This is a challenging day. It's a challenging period for Harlequins. How for you do you feel that first half went? What were the messages that you were delivering to the players?
Yeah, we've had to absorb a little bit of pressure here in the second half, and we've done pretty well to hold out. I think you were right there around just we need to move the game down to the other end of the field a little bit and get a bit of pressure, sustain pressure down there. Look, I've been pretty happy with our attacking intent. I think you know, we've had a lot of conversations this week and making sure that you know, really stripping back and going back to who we are and what we're about. And I think you've seen that. And look, we could always be more accurate. You know, we've left a few opportunities out there, but we're backing the lads to go out there and play what they see and play the pitches what we see. I think we've obviously asking at the half time a little bit more movement in what we're doing on both sides of the ball. I think we play Saints. They're a fantastic ball-moving team, and I think a little bit on our kick sprint, you know, in two phases post that. We haven't moved quite well, and hence they've carved us up a little bit in the second half. So both sides of the ball asking for a bit of movement.
You were just seeing Will Hobson receiving a little bit of attention. How difficult have some of the absences, the injuries that you've sustained in this first block of 8 games been to manage? And you know, young guys like Will Hobson, just the third Prem start, and a huge, enormous amount of responsibility on those young shoulders.
Yeah, look, they don't help, but look, there's no excuse, mate. I think, you know, you pull the jersey on, doesn't matter what team you are in the Premiership, there's a lot of history behind it, and certainly at Harlequins, 1866, there's a lot of history and a lot of people that have worn that jersey out there, so it's a fantastic opportunity for guys like Lucas Friday, Will Hobson, you know, Cassius Cleves. These are the future of the club, and they get their opportunity today in the shirt, which is was extremely exciting.
Thank you, Nick. We appreciate the time. Well, one of those young men is Lucas Friday. Tough old rehab road for him. 10 months out with an ACL. But arriving at full Premiership level tonight. Smith trying to bring Cleese into the game. He's such a deadly runner, as is Rodrigo Iskro, who bounces with real purpose, but eventually dragged back across the halfway. Bit of fire in the Quins' bellies, and Cunningham South looking to just wrestle his way for a few more metres, but in doing so, the ball spills free.
Just had to check his run, didn't he? Which, as we mentioned in the first half, his ball carrying's all about hitting the line perfectly. Just that stop. Leg caught slightly. Actually, I think Coles is still playing him on the floor here when the ball's dislodged. Is Coles off his feet when he plays that last? Yes, he is. Should have been a penalty against Alex Coles. Get away with it, Saints.
Let's go, Coles. Let's go, George. Let's go, Corey. Stay at him. Clear, let's go.
Crouch. Binds. Set.
There's a bit of pressure from Saints at the last scrum. Had Gombrand going back on his own footing, had to rescue it. Move away quickly and just fancy
There's no stability from either side.
Two front rowers might just fancy a little dabble here. Tell Callum Chick to keep
I'll
it
ask
in
you
at
to
the back.
scrummage over the top of the mark, please. We need some stability from both sides. Both sides, not stable. Over the mark, please.
Let's go, Cobbo. Stay on it, Craig. Let's go, Paul. Let's go. Send me out, fish. Yes, Cobbo. Let's squeeze, let's go. Yes, Cobbo. Yes, clear. Lord, that hands. Come on, GT.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Steady.
Penalty advantage for Mitchell to work with. Hendy, Todoro uses his feet but regathers, and the instinctive play. Oh, Mitchell trying to thread it through to Coles.
Lovely piece of skill from Sam Graham over there on the far side. It might not have seen. Ball looks like he's going out. Mitchell doesn't really want to go down and get his hands down there, and he just flicks it up in the air. That's nice. He's been good, hasn't he, since he came on? I think back to that horrible injury sustained, I think was it Tommy Raffel in the tackle at Matty Hollywood's Welford Road. Fought his way back and he looks in great nick, which is good to see.
Utterly integral when they won that Premiership title. No Saint played more along the campaign, the former Doncaster Knight captain. And Saints back into the 22, not quite as ruthless as they have been in this opening 10 minutes of the second half, but Mitchell has just been presented a gift. Bichetti still hunting that hat-trick. Just a little bit of a stutter step from everybody as Mitchell decided what he wanted to do. He goes wider, he goes to his Lions teammate, but Smith falls short. Coles, so easy. The big second row up against Cassius Cleese from point-blank range. There was only going to be one outcome.
Nick Evans saying they had to play the ball in the other areas of the field because Northampton, although they've been held up, they've looked dangerous here. Fischetti does a really good job. He's had a great game. Don Brandt nearly steals it, but watch how he just survives on the floor. There's a little bit of a crawl. That's what Kenningham's appealing to the referee for there. But he's a moving target. And then they just run out of numbers. A lovely little half dummy and step. That gets them close enough. If they get quick enough ball, Coles times his run round the corner and gets over the top of that last defender.
Yeah, it's all clear. Touches his neck, but it's not a full neck roll.
Awesome, thanks, mate.
Do you get the sense, Benny, that Fischetti's trying to hunt down that hat-trick? He's in every piece of the play here. The initial carry, like you said, and then just as he gets back, bounces back to his feet, he gets back in the last ruck as well, tries to get his hands on it, but then closes off the short side. We'll see on here, he's worked all the way around the corner now. He's just come into picture now, there he is. And he'll just close off that side of the ruck. His work rate has been excellent in this game.
Problems and points mounting against Harlequins. George Turner and Harry Williams off, and Sam Riley.
Use it!
And another Puma, Pedro Delgado, on to make an impact. Ram, again, climbing high. Real nuisance in the skies tonight in Northampton. Cleaves leaves him for dead. Then skips back inside Van der Mesch. Ram, a chase back. Riley leaves the ball behind.
High on Cassius Cleese. Ram there, had his hand under his neck. Really good kick and pace, but then once he gets past Ram, just cuts back inside where there's defensive cover.
Is that the first time that Quins had made it over the halfway line this half? They've been crushed in terms of territory, haven't they? Saints have had 80% possession in the second half. It's a bonkers number, that.
But he likes it against Saints, does Cassius Cleese. He's a highly strung athlete, though, been derailed by a number of injuries across his young career. Part of a talented intake, along with Nathan Jabulu. He's a huge loss for Quins to Sale.
The difference between these two teams is we've got supreme athletes in that Harlequin side. Isgro, Marcus Smith, when he picks the ball up at the back, obviously Cleves as well, but you almost feel like they're having to create stuff for themselves, whereas Northampton just are putting some of their most dynamic runners into space or through a hole, half through a hole, and then they'll do the rest. Obviously, Harlequins were one of the teams that, as the game moved, particularly in the Premiership, or the Prem now as it is, moved towards that more high-tempo attacking game. They led the way, but they've almost regressed slightly in terms of their ability to play as a team.
Chick dragging Kenningham with him for the ride across the 10-metre. No look from Pearson. Ripped to Hendy, who puts a bit of footwork in on Rodrigo Isgro. And O'Tonero! More tries for Saints. More pain for Quins.
Yeah, playing with dropped-off tackle. Hendy's fend is really, really good. He stands up the guy outside him, and then he turns the burners on, puts the fend out, and gives the ball to that man who blasts over. It's a lovely play. Chick gets to the outside. He makes 10, 15 metres on the carry. The set-up play, look how fast the ball's through the hands, out the back. Miss one across the body. There's the fend on Isgro, pumps him out. And there's an easy walk in on the outside, made by Hendy, but also made by the slickness of the Saints back play.
It's that Callum Chick carry as well, just those extra 2-3 metres that he got meant that Jared Evans had to step in. So when he does manage to bounce back out, when he does get there, it's just, there's so much going on in front of them, they become a little bit more passive. Find that space on the outside easily.
Points plundering, records tumbling. No Saints side has ever scored more points against a Harlequin side than this lot tonight. And there's 25 more minutes to go. Both scrum halves have been changed, by the way. Archie McParland's on for Alex Mitchell. We won't get the under-20 showdown because Will Porter's replacing Lucas Friday. And it's all hands to the pump for the beleaguered Quins right now, because Saints are freeing off the shackles with every pass, every carry, but the disruption is illegal. And Quins just can't get a break right now.
You're all good. His team needs
It's a handful, Hendy, isn't he? Really difficult player to put down. Even in close quarters, he's surrounded by defenders.
Rare error from Finn Smith, and
Could be a
punished.
50-20. Oh, just gets the wrong bounce.
By Marcus Smith all the way back to the heart of the 22. Hendy will send it down the tram lines. Goes in field and actually presents an opportunity for Nick David to stretch his legs. He's been all out defence, and that is an abrasive collision. Hit by two, but owning the contact.
Hands away!
Sending him south. Nice spin pass off the deck. And Evans can only head back in to a swarm of green and black jerseys. More energy in the contact from Cunningham South.
Use it!
Slow into shape, aren't they, which is why they have to go back to the kicking game, try and get that field position.
Good timing on the chase from Cleves. Wraps up Ram the second he claims it. Kundiona.
Okay, use it! Right here.
The Quins defence.
Wait.
It was pressing Saints back. McParland the route that he did against Bath last week.
He was excellent last week, wasn't he? Really good. Different type of player to Mitchell. But very effective down at the rec.
Well, Smith is playing all of his cards now. Jumbles off a few shins, eventually falls in the hands of his opposite number. And Evans finds David arriving from depth. Bit of fizz about that carry, and Fischetti is well off his feet and well in the way. Petty. Evans delays the ball for Northmore. But again, the door slams shut. Freeman has worked tirelessly in defence, as good as he's been in attack. And Sam Riley refuses to go down. Bit of fizz about Quins. Rodrigo Iskro drops it on the choke. A chase to the corner, but the touchline spoils the fun.
How good a try would that have been if that had just kicked a little bit left at the end for Iskro. Lovely short side play, recognises the matchup. Some of that Saints front five now starting to get quite tired. Not surprised, the amount of work they've done.
Good position for Harlequins though, 5 metres out. They scored from here once already. Imagine it won't be the same move, which caught Northampton napping. Hutchinson down, just got caught by Marcus Smith as he barreled in on the latch and tried to get his team moving forward.
Memories of Iskro's effort against Newcastle earlier in the season. He claimed it miraculously along a similar path. No joy here in Northampton, but Roy Hutchison back on his feet. He was one of the 3 disallowed tries last week. And things could have been even worse for Bath. Quins, 2 tries to their name. A third gets them in bonus point territory. Another move from the training ground, but Petty can't hold it.
Poor drill that. None of the decoys were effective. They're trying to do it at the pace, but the timing's all off. Petty's almost looking over his shoulder, trying to get that momentum early, but he goes away from his rear supporter.
Let's go! Let's go! Yes, Danny! Come on, boy! Let's go, let's go, lad.
Crouch!
Him again.
This may be the final opportunity for Danilo Fischetti to get that hat-trick try, because Oliver Scholar is warming up on the touchline. Hutchinson, well, especially dusted down, put into the heat of battle with a carry. That's a poor pass. It's casually, very nicely controlled.
Use it!
But Parlin, not much room to work with, but finds a decent touch.
It's off. Number 4 and number 6.
And more reinforcements arriving from the bench.
Number 4
for
and
Harlequins.
Yeah,
Zach Carr, who's
yeah,
been
100%.
so impressive this season on, and a special day for 18-year-old Elliot Williams, a Prem debut for
yeah, well, time's off.
the man who captained England under-19s when he was only under 18, made his debut for them age 17. So a real force for the future, and a great opportunity for him to make his mark over the next 20 minutes if the line-out can function.
He's not 18, I'm not having it. He's enormous. It's like you used to turn up when you were at school when you were 12 and the opposition had a moustache. You were like, he's not 12. Look at the size of him. I reckon he's 24. He lied on his passport.
No! Twos! Listen to me. Press up!
Crouch! Bind!
Joe Launchbury, the other forward replacement, there on the bench. No Steph Levis.
Play the ball away.
Aforementioned. And Saints will simply play from anywhere. And they'll rip you to ribbons as well. Offload doesn't find a green, black and gold jersey. It finds Alex Dombrandt, who finds his old schoolmate, Kieran Treadwell, returning to Quins after all those seasons at Ulster. Out of the pan and into the fire, as far as Treadwell's concerned. Delgado just about sticks to the palm of Smith. Cleaves, still full of running. Cole's hand surely beyond the ball there.
I thought he'd touched grass before he went to the ball, but
I think he just paints a really good picture, doesn't he? Got a bit of cramp now, has he?
good D from Ram to step in. Reed Cleaves on that hard, but yeah. It's from the angle the referee had. He was close to the ball, and seeing that, for me, that's touching the grass before he goes onto the ball.
Touch found, and now for a bit of appreciation from Franklin's Gardens for their Italian prop, who has been a force of nature this evening.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be in the running, isn't he, for player of the match.
Saints' top tackler tonight, not just what everything he's done with ball in hand.
Please don't throw over the top of the AR.
Huge work rate.
He's walking right in the line where you want to play.
You go straight over to the coach there and go, why?
We're making changes.
Why are you taking me off? I'm on 2 tries.
All right, thanks, mate.
I've never scored a hat-trick in my life. I feel great. Please put me back on.
Only 3 career tries ever for Danilo Fischetti, almost matching it in a night as Bryn Bradley has come on for Luke Northmore, and well, the game's just breaking down a little bit. The raft of replacements, I guess the absence of jeopardy at this point as well, and some minds going off the ball.
Because my AR stood in front of your hook and saying, please don't throw.
It's that mind reading.
Yeah, no worries.
Saints it look like they employ. Just gone slightly, few hesitations. That relationship in particular with Mitchell and Finn Smith has been so strong tonight.
You ready, Fedders? You ready?
Quite there at the moment with McPartland.
Will Hobson. A night less pronounced than he has been maybe in the last couple of outings, but certainly with his head held high. And Simon Kerrod, who loose head tonight, can play both sides. And maybe an illustration of where they're short in those front row reserves at the moment.
Green. Yeah.
Advantage for Quins to work with. Beautifully delayed. The deception freeing up Iskro. Capable of brilliance. And up to the 22. Now the return of the replacements to combine. Williams and Carr. Quins, Iskro arriving from the blind side, cut in half, and Sam Graham bounds on for more. Right, puts a bit of whip. Pearson, oh, that was a bullet and a little too high for Hutchinson, and an opportunity lost.
It's a lovely play, isn't it? They had the advantage, but they managed to get Port around the outside, and then Iskro's clear. If you watch the 2 chasing guys on the inside, watch Marcus Smith in particular, he knows where the opportunity is. Goes to Iskro. He needs to get behind the ball. If he puts a little kick in, it's just a straight foot race with Marcus Smith. And I think Hendy on the inside, but this is more like Quins, like you know, they can play. First phase, good attacking strike move, getting in space. Maybe look to finish it in the future.
Dislodged the ball at the end from Callum Chick. Another great game, such a good signing for them.
Callum Chick this week, they've replayed that tackle that he made at the Rec on Arundel that set up the Pollock try. They played it a couple of times to talk about work ethic, to highlight that hustle. And in the thick of things, once again. Well, Quins are beginning to pop, and just as you see an opening, an error lets them down.
A little bit too optimistic there.
Seen a lot of scrums, haven't we, from handling errors today?
Yeah, no, I don't. Number 5.
21 handling errors in total from both sides, but when you're playing a very high tempo, loose game like this, the ball does go down.
Joe Launchbury on for the closing minutes, and
hang on,
Kieran Treadwell getting
number 23, Green.
a rare break. Played a lot of minutes since arriving from Ulster.
23. I want to make a sub for 23.
Joe Launchbury doesn't look 18 either, does he?
No, he's not.
I don't know, that's why I'm shouting at you.
Fair difference in experience in that Quins second row now. I'm sure that is a major role of Joe Launchbury's with his new contract, is to bring people through.
Has there ever been a second row combination, father and son?
Yes, Simon, pick. Yes, lad. Let's go, Chicky. Let's go. Let's go. Yes, go.
Rory Hutchinson off the bench and back onto it. Anthony Bello, the supremely impressive Frenchman. Looks like he's slipping in to fly half. Finn Smith at inside centre. Third man to play that role this evening. And, well, showing he likes to run a Jamie Roberts line as well.
Your hands on the floor first.
Big Bosch, Hendy, Todaro. Rides that challenge so well and fights on for more metres that weren't his to take. Pearson slips it out the back. Bello, Graham lined up. But again, the strength to absorb the first hit. Another entry into the 22 for the Northampton Saints. A half-century of points beckoning. Spilt forward, no whistle, and Finn Smith may have done it.
Sure, it's a knock-on, isn't it?
I think so, but last week one was given early, wasn't it?
I had this off his head, therefore everything is good and the try is good. So my on-field decision is try. However, we just want to make sure that isn't a knock-on. Callum, please give me a second to ask TMO. Speak to him.
He actually gets hit, and that's what brings his head down
so I'm
to
happy
ball
that
level.
10 comes from an onside position. It's just whether or
Lovely
not
little flick on.
we have a knock-on there or not.
Nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that.
that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, back to me, Jacko, please. Hang on. No. Go back to your line, please. Alex, please. Jacko, back to me, please.
Yeah, you're on screen.
Okay, the pass is backwards. It is off the green player's head. 10 comes from an onside position. The try is good.
A try that rather sums up Quinn's luck right now. Off the head, into the path of Smith. And for the first time in the history of these two clubs, a half-century of points scored.
Well, Bello's been itching to come on, and this pass is absolutely golden. Fires it across the face, straight into Hendy's hands. He's got a 2-on-1 on the outside. That gives them the field position. They get a bit of luck there, no doubting that. But they just play such a fast, open, and intelligent game, Northampton, that tend to make a bit of luck every now and again.
Use it!
Tell you what, with the Six Nations coming up and the way Bello played last week, it's not going to be a straightforward Finn Smith in the 10 shirt.
No!
I know Probably it is, but I'm just trying to make it interesting.
He allows you on the
They
ball.
want to keep him, don't they?
Watch come.
Yeah.
Noises that they're desperate to keep him. There'll be a bit of top 14 interest.
Yeah, would you say, is there a more under the radar signing? Nobody was talking about Anthony Bello.
Oh, I thought it was a great signing
before the season started, but he has been a resounding success in those colours.
Yeah, last week he was good, but hasn't had enough time to make the shortlist today of the star players.
Well, we'll get on to that in just a moment.
Great work at the front on Launchbury there. He's doing his best to disrupt, but he's just ragdolled a little bit. And you don't do that very often to Joe Launchbury.
Just keep that mark, Chip, please.
Beautiful hands, Todoro, all action, all biff, all Fenn! Outrageous!
How did he stay on his feet? That is incredible. The strength of that man. On 3 occasions on this carry, it looks like he's going down. The pass from Smith is absolutely on the money. He turns the burners on, steps out of one, bounces out of another, fends off Smith, goes over for the try. That's magnificent.
4 tackles. He bursts through. And it looks like all of them have got him. David, I feel he's got to do better. Smith, always off balance. But what a finish that is. Incredible.
And another half-century as well. The 50th try that Saints have scored in the Prem this season. And Finn Smith goes wayward for the first time in a while.
There's the carry. Like I said, the pass from Smith was on the money. Goes straight over David, bounces to another couple. He has been a great signing for Saints, hasn't he? This year, signing from the academy.
That's okay, yeah, no, I'll give you a second just to let you read it nice.
But it doesn't make the contenders, actually, because there's been so many good performances. Biscetti, 2 tries. Great game. Coles all around the field has just been immense. Tight play. Mitchell controlling all the matters when he was on. Hendy, difficult to stop. One of my favourites as well. Sam Graham coming back from that long-term injury with all the bite and nastiness that we know that we've got.
Yeah, just stay there.
It's going to be a difficult decision.
Well, in amongst all those star performers for Saints, Harlequins are losing one of their key performers. Will Porter's just been helped from the field, looking very awkward with an arm injury. Started every Prem and Champions Cup game until today. Not looking like he'll be starting next week, clearly out against Stormers. Quins get away with one.
David's gone in at 9. They're all sharing load. Marcus Smith stepping in there now.
Cleves does look explosive when he gets the ball. He hasn't had much room to work with. And Ed Prowse as well, on for JJ van der Mesch. Saints are the big bopper. Just 18 months he's been in the senior ranks, and he's making a quick name for himself.
Okay, we're all done, Green, leave it.
Bradley, first real opportunity for him to demonstrate his physicality. Delgado. David, no options outside him, so he has to take the less optimal route and straight into Pearson. Kerrod driven back with menace.
Because they're used to playing at this intensity, Northampton, their fitness levels are supreme. They do so many short games in training. Not a huge amount of contact, but a load of running, and other teams just can't live with them at times.
Hendy bouncing around like he's got elastic soles. And Saints aren't taking their foot off the pedal. If anything, they're looking to find an extra gear. Evans wants Smith. Smith needs friends, finds David. This broken, fractured field is what Quins used to thrive on. And they find a chink in the Saints' armour. Rodrigo Iskro tangling with Freeman. It is a gorgeous offload. It is a second for Alex Dombrandt. But it is mere consolation.
Well, Dombrandt's been good. It's been one of Harlequins' players, if not their best player. But watch how he stays in front after the break. He knows he's not got the pace to stay with Iskro. He knows that he's probably going to run past him. So there, he just stays in front. He goes to the acceleration. Now he gets back in behind, and he's the first man there. Really smart play.
Well, chaps, I know you'll be devastated to hear this, but that try draws Alex Dombrandt level with Hugo Monnier.
Let's hope he stays fit.
No worries.
Tell you what, he could move past quite a few people. One more. He's calling it. They come away with this a point, then it's something positive, isn't it? They come away with nothing, conceding nearly 60. It's just atypical of what we've seen in the last 4 weeks.
Such a good engine on him, hasn't he? Just his ability to stay in a game, always be there. The speed of thought coupled with really good fitness. Might not always look like the supreme athlete, but so often the first man to a breakdown, affecting those turnovers as we've seen tonight. Just needs more people to do it in a pink shirt.
And when they signed him out of obscurity from Cardiff Met University, they couldn't have possibly imagined the profound impact that he would have had over the last 8 seasons now. And well, Antibello, looks like we've lost him.
Yeah, he took a shoe to the mouth, didn't he? It's gone off, looks like, for some stitches. Another chance though for Saints now to get through the 60.
You ran out, no, you ran out of subs. Oh, you got an injury?
Was there not blood on that?
They said tactical, I think they want to go down.
Into the 22 we go, and into the Gallagher player of the match, Austin.
Well, it was a difficult one because there's so many good players from Saints today. Fischetti came very close, his stats are amazing, but that guy has been unbelievably good. Both sides of the ball, carrying, defending, tight, offloading. And that's why Alex Coles is our Gallagher player of the match.
The Gardens thirsty for more, right, almost scrabbling there. Instead it's Pearson. It's always Pearson. The all-action 7, helping himself to more Premiership tries.
Doesn't look entirely convinced, does he? Pearson just wondering whether he does actually ground it. A little bit of a juggle there, but I think he maintains control. Does this one? That one's clear.
You're knock on by 16 green, loses control of the ball forwards, and then it touches the pink player
right here as he comes out.
Check it up on the screen, full speed, please, Jacko.
So touch the floor before he regathers.
Jacko, can you just play that full speed, please?
That's got control, has he?
Oh yeah, he clearly loses that, and then it touches that pink player, doesn't it? Correct, so it is a knock-on, yeah, no problem. Back to me, Jacko, I've got a decision. Green 16 clearly loses that ball forward. It hits a pink player before he regathers it, so it's a knock-on, no try.
Craig Wright may have to buy Tom Pearson a beer later on.
scrum. This Harlequins front row, though, without a specialist 9. They've got Marcus Smith, who's going to be putting it in. And you'd imagine a big green shunt coming their way.
Quins with Marcus Smith at scrum half. Down to 14.
Stuck into there. Marcus Smith can go digging.
Green.
And they get the penalty.
He's lost it, isn't he?
Saints giving them a helping hand. Smith appreciates the urgency of this bonus point, and in going for length, he only picks out Hendy. A wave of Saints heading Quinn's way once more. Todaro. Oh, it's instinctive. It's scintillating, but Hendy gets dragged down. Pearson, denied once, slings it to the player of the match. Saints looking irresistible. Saints, Freeman looking unstoppable until Bryn Bradley somehow manipulated his body underneath.
Wow, what a tackle. Really good line from Tommy Freeman. Great power. But Bradley just finds a way of latching onto the ball and rolls his knee underneath, puts Freeman on his back, and then makes sure that left shoulder beats the ball to the ground.
Looks like Hendy may have taken a bad injury on the far side as well.
I'd stop for you as well. Chips, can you just go and check, please?
Fuck the shit.
Just check the injury, please.
He's guarding the ground as he's going forward.
George Hendy found himself a mischief here. Both teams have, it's 14 on 14 at the moment due to the injuries, and Hendy's going to battle on for the last 50 seconds or so, and Quins are going to try and win this back. They have to try and win this back if they're to salvage something.
Nothing clear as the knock on at the moment. Jacko, unless you correct that.
90 metres to go for a try-scoring bonus point.
Thanks, man.
Cleaves. Streaky kick over the top. Finn Smith shirks him off, then finds the challenge of Williams. Saints aren't finished scoring, they want more. Wright shovels it to Graham. If there's a man who deserves a score out there, it's him. Picked up, dummied. Quins fighting for their defensive pride once more.
Hands away! Hands away!
Saints looking to inflict maximum damage right to the very last second. Coles, the player of the match, makes it a perfect 10 for Saints and claims a hat-trick for himself in the process.
Well, wave after wave. Obviously, Harlequins chasing that bonus point, attacking from places they wouldn't usually, but they get to field position, and it's no different than what Saints have had all game. Good runner after good runner, good decision-making after good decision-make. And Cole's not for the first time tonight, picks his line perfectly, finds the grass with that long place and finishes off perfectly for this Northampton Saints side, who are on fire.
A record win for Northampton Saints over Harlequins. No Saints side had ever scored 50 against Quins. They've just scored 66